Alrighty, my friends, we're straight into this series. Shout out to the players for being ready, set, just go, go, go. Love it. Absolutely love it. Remove any downtime we can as we enter PvZ on the new patch. Still excited to see what the hell people are going to be doing. As in the bottom left-hand corner, the red Protoss player from Team NV is NightMare. And the top right, our blue Zerg player is going to be Solar. And we'll see if Solar can move through to the Grand Finals today, as Solar has just been winning what feels like all of the WardiTV events recently. I mean, it just feels like he's been almost non-stop in our tournaments. He won a couple of them towards the end of last year. Just trying to double-check what exactly my Wikipedia page loads. Just trying to double-check what else he's playing. He didn't win the PTR Cup. What else did he play in? Oh yeah, he won the Team Liquid Map Contest tournament that we ran, right? So he won the TLMC. What else did we run this year so far? Actually didn't run anything else really this year. Oh yeah, the New Year Invitational he won. He won the Christmas Invitational. So actually, like, he won, like, basically 3 of our last 4 events that we ran. Had a good play, and obviously one of them was that PTR Cup, and he lost out in the semi-finals there. So yeah, Solar has just been kind of dominating our tournaments, and this might be just another one of them. Feels like every time I open up my PayPal to send in money, it's like, oh, I owe you money from like 3 different events, and you won all of them. Feels like you're taking all the money. All of the money is yours, Solar. Here, have it all. Let's see what NightMare can do. NightMare's been impressing me lately. I really feel like he's stepped up and leveled up a little bit just in general, like across the board. It feels like he's been playing a lot more securely. Feels like he's been having a good time with it. It just feels like he's playing some good games. So it's been really fun to watch him do that, and we'll see what continues to happen as that Overlord scouting down to the bottom left, by the way. Moving along there for the moment. So yeah, just getting set up across the board. We're going to be having our little probie. He's making a little bit of a journey across as well, so that's just going to be trying to see a bit of what's going on too. There's a couple links coming around. Probe continuing to take some nibbles. Again, link speed continuing up with the hatchery now on the way on the 3rd base. So all of that gets to continue through as our Stargate will be on the way up as well. So Stargate's going to be coming up to completion very shortly here. And yeah, we have seen a few different ways of playing Stargate so far on the patch. VOIDRAYS into Oracle seems to be a pretty popular one. We saw MaxPax yesterday really relying on Adepts, so even when he went Stargate, he built 1 unit into Twilight Council and played Adepts. And we have seen some still double Stargate VOIDRAYS styles, and they've been playing out quite interestingly as well. We'll see what happens here. We will start VOIDRAYS, we will kill this Overlord initially. That removes the scouting and just stops Solar from being able to see exactly what else is going to be happening afterwards. So that's going to be the starting point. It's just going to have that VOIDRAYS popping very, very soon. And the Warp Gate continuing in on the side of NightMare as well. So all of that continuing up at the moment. I'm just going to be seeing a couple of Queens coming out. Overlords on the way in. And yeah, the VOIDRAYS into Oracle, like I say, really still has a few options as to what he does behind it. What is very popular if you do go for this, though, is you go VOIDRAYS, Oracle, and then you start moving into the... Basically everything else after that is just the Ground Army, Twilight Council, Robot Facility, all these things that will settle you down into just a more comfortable game and really give you a strong Ground Army to work from. So expecting to see something along those lines perhaps here when this PvZ gets started up. We have an VOIDRAYS coming in. Queen is going to start taking a little bit of damage, so a little bit of something there. Nothing really too crazy, though. I'm just going to be seeing the Oracle is going to fly into those Queens, and that ain't pretty at all. We do a double Stargate behind this, by the way, as well, so also worth noting, perhaps, that is the follow-up now. That's what we're going to go into next here. well. As we get underway, we will just have ourselves the VOIDRAY setting up, and as the VOIDRAY sets up, also our couple of extra VOIDRAYs coming through as well. Is it super terrible that we didn't do much with the Oracle? Yeah, kinda. I mean, the Oracle's meant to provide you some, some time in this game where you're able to kind of really have a bit of a better time. You're able to get in there, you're able to do some damage. You're able to pick up on what your opponent's up to, and that Oracle just being down affects you for a lot of the game from there on out. Because now you don't know exactly when your opponent's moving across, you're less likely to spot a spire, right? Just scouting in general is that much more difficult in this scenario. And that's what really sucks more than anything else. Let's just clearing out some rocks, as we do have the triple VOIDRAY play continuing up. +1 air weapons is already on the way in. I play on the last patch. You can't play on the last patch anymore. This is all new patch nowadays, guys. New patch because everything is the patch is live. You can't avoid the patch at this stage, basically. You can't avoid it. You must play it. That's how GSL works. Well, playing on the last patch? GSL doesn't play on the last patch. GSL also plays on the current patch. Once the patch is live everywhere. You can't do much else about it then. There's a few voids zapping some Zerglings. They get pushed off over the side. Going to be seeing a couple of adepts over here doing well, getting a few drone kills. So a little bit of pressure coming in. You can see the ground army starting to establish here as well. Templar Archives is on the way up. You can see the couple carriers are being brought in. These voids are going to start putting some damage out, and a little bit of transfusion action will start to come through as well. Voids will get pushed away by these corruptors, and boy, those corruptors are coming in and really chasing those VOIDRAYs down. Voids got to get out of there. Now they're going to turn around and fight, but not a bad start from Sol. Again, a few pickoffs to begin with, as carriers are on the way, and this establishment into the rest of the game is well set right now. If balance happens in the middle of the tournament, they will play on the last patch? No, that doesn't happen at all. There's literally been arguments in the past about when a balance patch hits the middle of the tournament and it affects tournaments like GSL. It's never been a thing. They always play on the live patch. If the patch goes live, I'm pretty sure it's in their contract with Blizzard and their tournament license that they must play on the live server and the live patch. There's no way. That's not a thing at all. Nobody is making mods to play on old versions of the game. Not unless something has gone seriously wrong with the patch, you know. You could make a mod that would allow you to do it, but it's just never happened. I'm 99% certain that that's just not a thing at all. Like I say, I could be wrong, but I'm pretty comfortable in my assumptions. We're going to be seeing our corruptors coming through. Looking for a big fight. Going to get a carrier right away as Solar gets aggressive. He has brought the queens across the map as well. They're just going to be here for extra DPS, even if they can't transfuse. Turns out queen DPS is nice and applicable anyways. Just going to be having our corruptors and queens and the roaches going to try and bust through the natural. Well, there's not a lot to really defend the natural, but you kind of have to, because if you don't defend the natural, you're going to give up all of your production toward the main base as well. Corruptor's going to pull back a little bit with the queens, as we actually just see NightMare choosing to go across the map as his setup, so he's going to choose to run across to the other side instead. That's going to be how he starts to play this out. Not a terrible idea, but unfortunately he's going to have all these carriers caught. The VOIDRAYs aren't in good enough numbers to protect them, so this is just disastrous, and this is just not working at all. And yeah, there's a couple of Archons get recalled alongside all these carriers, but this is very much so looking as though this is just going to be a pretty quick resolution to this game. So not much going the way of NightMare in game number 1. Kind of intrigued as to what he will do throughout the course of the series just to mix it up, because if he's going to come in and play VOIDRAYS every time, I just don't think that's going to work anymore. So very intrigued as to if something changes on that front at all. Crypts continue to chase after those Voids. Archons continue to take a bunch of damage. We will see one VOIDRAY that's already taking a lot of hits. I mean, this army of Solar is maxed out. He's got money to spend in terms of getting remaxed as well, so he's in a very comfortable place. I mean, Solar just has everything that he needs right now. Yeah, this is pretty much just a done deal. That's going to be seeing our army will raid for some extra roaches, but he's also got a hive coming up as well, just in case too, right? So just continuing with all of that, just in case it can potentially help him, but I think we can all see that it probably ain't going to change very much as the Roach Ravager Corrupt Army continues out down this bottom side. Oh, my PC, my connection's deciding to lag again. Brilliant. Today is just laggy on Korea. I'm sorry, guys. I can't really do much about it unless we just don't watch the games, so sorry for this. Like I say, there's not really anything I can do to change this right now, as it isn't affecting the players. That's what I don't understand. It's definitely something on my internet side, but then is it my internet versus is it just the connection to Korea? So many questions to be asked. Things gas around, those Zealots will go down. Solo's not quite being able to put an end to this game just yet, as a few Zealots walk to their death into that Roach Ravager army. We're going to continue through and just going to be seeing the Archon is going to be in trouble. The VOIDRAYS are going to continue dropping. Super Battery is going to get cleaned out. It's not in the forward battery. I wonder if that was really necessary. If it was in the back, maybe that would have slowed down Solo just a little further, but I mean, these Corruptors right now as well, there's not a lot of air-based units left, so the Corruptors don't even care if they're a little bit dive-bomby. There are more VOIDRAYS building, but we've also got Hydras on the way to kind of, pull out a finishing blow. I honestly don't even hate it. Hydras are a weird thing to build at this sort of stage of the game, but yeah, see what happens as our batteries continue to take hits, the VOIDRAYS continuing through, things being picked away at, and just going to see Corrosive Vials continue to drop down wherever possible. Corruptors continuing to drop, and just going to be seeing now this Nexus is going to be denied. So that gets shot down. That will be that. And that's going to be GG's. NightMare is going to be given solo at the first game of this best of 5 semi-final. Maybe some game in the right-hand side where we do have the 1-0 lead. Not standing, sorry, you just got that mixed up because I swapped the players around last second. We're going to go to the top left-hand side where there is a 1-0 lead with the blue Zerg player Solar. 4-0 on the day so far, looking to cruise his way into the finals. He is absolutely not being halted by much at the moment. Bottom right is the red Protoss player from Team NV, NightMare. As we get prepped for this next map. I'll drop a gateway down, start to get the wall off going at the front to begin with. And just gonna see a couple of drones popping out on the side of Solus. Nothing too crazy just yet. Hatching gas on the way up, so hatch gas pool. Probe gonna come in. Doesn't get there to block the hatchery, but is gonna get here to start nibbling away at this mineral patch and to start trying to push the drones off location a little bit, if at all possible. Wonder if NightMare knows that the balance patch made Protoss ground better against Zerg, because Queen Walks aren't as effective. It's a weird comment that you keep seeing. Queen Walks are only effective against Stargate. It doesn't see how it makes ground toss better. Well, Queen Walks weren't only effective against Stargate. You could bring Queens across the map against a lot of non-Stargate openings as well. If you're going to go for like a Roach Ravager all in and stuff. And the Queens would also come across the map and transfuse a bunch. And because Queen Walks are not as effective, basically a Queen Walk could be used in any scenario to try and kill a greedy Protoss player. But now you can't really do that, so the pros can be a little bit greedier and do some builds that they couldn't have done before, and that basically allows them to kind of get away, you know, with those builds, and the Garnt army can be a little bit stronger, basically. So a lot of it isn't really like directly; it's more like an indirect sort of switch up. There's going to be a Twilight Council to open here from NightMare as we get that started up already as well. So just getting that established right away. It's going to be where we begin with here. I'm expecting just Glaive Adepts, right? I mean, small map, good map for Glaive Adepts as well, absolutely. So I'd be kind of surprised if Glaive Adepts didn't end up coming into this. Gonna see a few links continue now down to the bottom right hand side. So you see now Overlord here is being picked away at in a robot facility, starting up the Prism. In the end, it's a Dark Shrine, and that's obviously not Glaive Adepts. I'm kind of surprised. I really thought Glaive Adepts, but maybe just trying to keep his opponent guessing a little bit as well, and not going for the obvious per se all of the time. And WardiTV is going to be a pretty strong way to play about things. So have that Prism popping out, going to start moving to the upper left side of the map here. And the lair continuing through for the moment as we get all of this set up to rumble. The depths will be potentially going into that upper left here in a second as well. A few extra DTs just warping in, so all of that getting set up right now. And just going to be seeing that DT showing up, but there is going to be a Spore Crawler ready, so it's not like Solo's going to be caught off guard right away. You know, he's going to be kind of just fine for the initial moment at least. DTs will sit back and we'll see if they can figure out what exactly they would like to do next as they move forward again. Roach is taking some damage, and so far, nothing too wild. Continue to get going. A few DTs coming in, and still just trying to find openings. I mean, the problem is for NightMare is if Solo can hold this and not take any damage, yeah, the Archon drop out on follow-up should be able to do something and slow the Zerg down a bit as well, but there's always on a small map like this the potential of a very quick counterattack where you've just not done a lot, and now the Protoss, the Zerg player just gets to come across the map at you and have a very good time of it, so definitely some potential there. Things surrounding the Stalkers, and a few of them already going down. There's a couple that fall. Another Stalker is going to be going down as well. So, nice little attack from Solo already grabbing some units. This Blink follow-up is going to be the way in which NightMare wants to continue, and that means that he's going to get set up to be very aggressive on the follow-up here, so that's going to be his plan. He drops down, just going to swipe a Zergling. A few extra lings continue to be picked away at here, so they will continue to drop, and well, unable to find any further damage at least, which is kind of good news for our Protoss player who, down in game, definitely didn't feel like he's had the best of start so far. Still just going through, just going to be seeing a couple of Crypt Humors taking some shots. And that creep spread continue to take some damage, so a little bit of creep going down at the moment here. And otherwise, everything just looking like NightMare's ready and up for an attack. Obviously, wants to maybe get going, get set up, and just go, pull the trigger. You have a lot more lings coming through. The Roach Ravager continues out. These VTTs already going to work on the units over there, so just again trying to harass in the main. We never saw the Archons morph in. My goodness, I really thought that was about to be a dead Prism. My heart skipped a beat. I was like, no, there's like 2 DTs still inside. I thought that was the disaster moment where NightMare's like, god damn it, because if the Prism goes down, you can't, you know, be aggressive on the ground as well. Not that he's getting the chance to be, because it's Solo that's come across the map to fight against these Stalkers. Disruptor's on the way, but not ready yet. The moment Disruptor's out, this game obviously becomes a lot more comfortable for the Protoss, who will blink forward, believing he can clean up this army, and I don't think he's necessarily wrong in assuming he can. Solo's going to get turned around and is not having a good time here at all. DTs are mixed in as well, and there's no Overseer left, so that's going to be a really good chase back. And now maybe NightMare swings this to Solo's of the side of the map, takes the momentum, and just goes to try and make a game-winning move. We're going to see a DT getting chased away by the Lings. That goes down, unfortunately. These Stalkers have the potential to be enough to just win this out. Obviously, you're taking some damage. The Changelings all go down. Extra Stalkers continuing to warp in. Just going to be seen our Ling Roach Ravager continuing to press on through. A couple of Biles, but the Prism is able to dodge out of the way. It's not really too much trouble there. And this is going to be a little bit of creep being cleaned out as well. Naturally, will take a few more shots. As the Stalkers continue to blink away down the left-hand side. Ho-ho! There goes the Prism getting shot down, so the Prism gets removed from the equation. That's actually really nice from Solo. Will buy you a bit of time where Warpins at least have to come from the other side of the map. Even if it's not a large map, it's still something. There's a DT hidden in behind the Overlords there, but it's being handled, so a few workers going down. Solo's still down on workers, though, overall. It's definitely in a little bit of trouble regarding that. We do have that Nexus still a building. I'm just going to be seeing our Banelings, Ravagers, Lings all continuing up for now. Solo just tries to, I mean, at this point, basically tries to hold on. If this mid-tier army can keep on holding on, he will at least give himself something of a chance. So we'll see if he can indeed make something happen as we start up. And that charge is on the way through, so bringing that charge up into play as well, definitely also going to be something to help out with. Disruptors are going to make this so difficult. Obviously, the fight so far has been without Disruptors, but now you're going to see a real fight with Disruptors included. And, well, the Disruptors initially, the first shot was great, but then they're kind of being caught over here, so the Disruptors will all go down. That's obviously a pretty big deal. Losing out on all those Disruptors, and maybe it gives Solo something of a chance. I mean, you get over to this side of the map, and there's cannons and batteries there, and then your chance is kind of taken away, right? You know, anything that you maybe potentially had going for yourself is pretty much immediately undone. So that doesn't turn into much, as you are going to be seeing our units all pulling back. Prepping to maybe go once more. It's once again going to be NightMare on the map, though. He's still trying to keep up this pressure. I'm not unsure about this. No Prism, the Stalkers, only one Disruptor. I don't know, I feel like maybe this is not the army you go back onto the map with. I feel like until now he's always had like reasonable choices. This one I don't like as much, and Solo's going to come in for the surround, and those Disruptors got to be careful because Lings are going to be on top of them real quick. Going and getting like a Baneling, you know, a couple Banelings killed off initially is something, but is it enough? This is looking genuinely concerning right now. Probes continuing to drop as we do see this army of Solo coming right in here. Just going to be seeing our battery is going to get taken down as well. That Overseer gets knocked off. And there's a couple of DTs trying to clean this army up. In the end, Solo's army, I think, will go down. And if he doesn't deal with these elves, that could be a problem because all the damage he's done is going to be somewhat undone at the same time. So that could absolutely be an issue. Things continuing around. A couple drones haven't already taken a couple hits. Maybe something else to watch out for there, as we just have the disruptor going back up over in this direction. So again, that's set up to go. Solar's just gonna come charging through. The roaches continuing to take some shots. I mean, Solar's army rebuilds, and behind this we did see the triple Stargate come through, so now you got that triple Stargate helping you out as well. Also seemingly a factor here is obviously now you can transition through into that big Void Ray play, and that will change up a lot of how this game follows through at this stage, so something else to absolutely keep in mind. Voids will continuing along. I'm just going to be seeing our army of Solar again is going to move its way down to the bottom side of the map and come into position. Ling's going to go running forwards, and the VOIDRAYS, the Stalkers, everything joining together initially. Just going to be seeing our army of NightMare wanting to get pushing. In the end, Solar's just never really had the proper composition he needed. Like, he's never quite been able to tech up and really power up his army. He's maybe on the way there now, getting some Hydra upgrades, +2 melee. I mean, a lot of this was Solar that was really committed to the attack in the start of the game as well, right? You know, he really put himself behind. And again, from there, he seems as though he's just consistently been in that struggle of trying to figure out, well, what next? Can I get anything up as kind of my next stage of this game? Or am I going to just stuck on, you know, what I've already got? And a lot of it seems to be that he's just stuck on what he's already got. So you've seen our Banes and our Hydras coming back around. Trying to stay set up here if at all possible. So going to be seeing the Lings and Roaches trying to move up this ramp. So trying to get up the ramp, trying to make a little bit of a difference. Not really too much happening as we see our VOIDRAYS is going to fire forward with the disruptors. Let's see if this surround from Solar can be enough. His army is absolutely just melting. That is a probably hot Zerg as NightMare takes the game number 2. Ties is up 1-1 in this best of 5. And we do begin to get in. Now down to the bottom left-hand side with the red Protoss player from Team NV. This is NightMare. It did work in that last game. I really feel like he just defended well. Honestly, I was a bit skeptical of Solar's initial attack. It felt like the DTs really didn't do much. Solar kind of felt as though he could just go across the map and win, but that was a horrible idea. Really didn't work out at all. See what happens this time around. I mean, NightMare played a good game after. It was definitely still a bit scary, though. Definitely got closer than he would have wanted it to at times, right? It was a fun game, all said and done. I'm just going to be seeing our couple drones coming out, hatchery coming through. A lot of just initial setup getting going here. Natural gas and spawning pool all on the way up. Ottawa going to be one of the bigger maps that we've seen so far. Then Pride and Glitter and we've vetoed in this series, so we don't have any of like the ultra big maps in this best of 5. So hardwired 2K, some of the bigger ones that we're going to end up seeing for the most part. Let's just have the probe continuing to scout around in the main base. Couple queens, couple lings, all continuing out as well. And as they pour out, obviously, things should slowly just come to, they should just slowly come alive here a little bit. Wait to see exactly what NightMare wants to do. Obviously, he's been mixing it up then. Obviously, from some Stargates to now a Twilight build. He's going to open Stargate again, at least in this game. So the starting point will be a Stargate, of course, but there's still a lot of differences and a lot of things that this could or could not be. There's no absolute guarantee here immediately as to what is about to happen. Waiting for the Stargate to finish. Like I say, what I was saying before is Oracle VOIDRAYS seems to be one of the common go-tos if you're going to try and do anything on this new patch. It seems to be Oracle or VOIDRAY Oracle, and then you can play into the Twilight Robo ground army behind it. That's been a pretty popular way to set up. I wonder if we see much Triple Oracle again, if that's something which comes into play again here in the near future. Definitely a possibility, right? As the Adept just moves its way around the left side initially, just going to scout out a little bit, gonna drop a probe down. And our VOIDRAY is gonna be there to clean out that Overlord as well. It's just picking that off too. So far, so good. As we just continue on in. Adepts continue to shade out to the northern side, so going to be making their moves across the map. Let's try and put some initial pressure on, and we do see our third Nexus already starting up. There is an extra Stargate, though, and it looks like we are going to go back to the VOIDRAYS here for NightMare. In this game, 3 now. Drone's going down. Just going to see our Roach Lair army continuing to build up. As all of our Voids come in, we'll see what Soul's response is going to be to Triple Stargate. I mean, pretty much you got to go Spire, right? You got to go Corruptors. Any other option doesn't really work all that well. As the Oracle comes in, a couple of drones go down. There's a Twilight now coming up behind us from NightMare, so you can start thinking about his follow-up. He actually went Robo already, but he's not gone Robo Bay, so with the Twilight coming in, maybe just thinking of, again, some Archons up or so, something along those lines initially. That would be my, perhaps, expectation of this as we get started. Be interesting to see how that pans out. Just going to be seeing our Robo Bay coming up. But it's going to be a Robo Bay in the end, so yeah, he will go. I mean, Disruptors are like the obvious choice, right? Overlord's coming across the map. If you bring Queens, obviously you can transfuse with Queens if you've got creep spread, and Overlords can poop out creep. So, this is something that we've been discussing and mentioning and haven't really seen yet, but that looks like it might be the possibility, it might be the reality here. So I think that's very cool. I think that's going to be very, very exciting. Just going to be seeing our Lings, Ravagers, Queens coming in. VOIDRAY coming through as well and knocking down the rocks. Like I said, the Overlord's just going to poop creep, and that's going to be your creep field to transfuse off of. You should drop some creep tumors. Okay, you already dropped one creep tumor, so you'll push the creep forward from here. So here we go. Now again, this is what I was talking about a lot with the patch, is the idea of these kind of queen walks can happen, but they take a bit more preparation. They come at a certain time. So you know, early game queen walks aren't a thing, and that's what you can prepare around as the Zerg or as the Protoss. Some corners you can cut. Right now, it feels like NightMare has absolutely zero preparation for even if there wasn't queens here. I think this would be troublesome because he's just had no amount of Voidrays to properly stop this from coming through. This is turned into a real disaster real quick. As just going to be seeing our Nexus continues to be picked away at. Looks as though that will go down. Yeah, I mean, that's just kind of brutal, huh? As Nexus goes down, so obviously he has the chance to move forward in towards the natural and keep on going here. Yeah, my main point was that, because some people will be like, see, Queen Walks didn't get nerfed at all, but you can only do this at certain points of the game, and it's those super early Queen Walks that now aren't as applicable, and if those early Queen Walks aren't as applicable, usually there's a couple more corners you can cut as the Protoss, there's a couple things you don't have to worry about as much, and that obviously makes a pretty big difference. See how Disruptor's firing through a little bit. Trying to get a little bit of damage dealt. And just showing up and they're going to start killing some pros. I mean, this follow-up is already pretty deadly, right? And because you've done some damage, you can justify going into the mutas. You don't need to build Corruptors right away. This is going to be tough to deal with. How do you really deal with mutas flying into your base and all of that? I mean, I kind of feel like in general you just don't. It definitely seems like the reality of it right now is Sling Muta coming through. Just going to kill off these couple Disruptors. Yeah, I mean, the Voidray goes down. There's no third base from NightMare. This very much so looks as though we are going to have Solo taking game number 3 and taking the lead going into map 4. We just come through. A few of these pros continue to go down. We are going to be seeing our couple of Archon shots continuing through as well there. And Ravager still pushing through. Just going to be seeing the next the group of units here in some trouble. Archon's taking some hits. You're going to see Disruptor Shot flies forward. Is going to be denied. 19 probes, 20 probes going down. GG call. Solo just obviously way too much there. That initial Queen Walk does too much damage, and that is GG's. And what's up being? Bottom right side, our blue Zerg player from Kaiser Gaming is Solar. As in the bottom left, it is going to be our red Protoss NightMare from Team NV. I mean, honestly, what I feel like is good right now for Protoss are ground armies, and you know, 2 games in a row now, NightMare has come in using the, you know, worse for wear Voidrays, and both of those games just didn't start off pretty for him as well. I mean, I didn't even like necessarily what he did here, right? It was just Voidrays right away, and never got on the map with him or anything. Felt like he had a super low count when Solar arrived. I don't know, like, he's using the units that got nerfed, so it kind of feels like, well, maybe try something different, right? Like, he's almost doing what he used to do. One thing to mention as well is when we get patches, one of the races that hurt the most initially is sometimes Protoss. Now, it varies a little bit, but Protoss players, you know, they're very build reliant. So when a patch changes, their builds change, and so generally Protoss also perform worst after a patch. Whereas Zerg usually perform better because they're kind of very fluid and more, you know, just kind of, you know, reliant on kind of good game knowledge. Obviously, when those builds and so on get sharpened up, Zerg have a bit of a worse time figuring out the proper reactions, how to respond, and so on. So yeah, also worth thinking about a little bit at least. Is all this really a problem? Well, I don't think so, because I think it's not like Protoss haven't won anything lately. People like to say Protoss don't win anything and the Protoss are underrepresented. Well, we just have less Protoss players at the top level. We have an abundance of Protoss players. They're like slight tier down from there. In fact, Protoss are the one race that never have issues filling in a tournament. And yeah, did Protoss win a GSL in the last few years? No. Did Protoss players multiple times get to the finals? Yes. So what? The matchup is, the race is just broken only in finals? Though, like, you know what I mean? I don't know. I find the logic of claiming that Protoss need to win a GSL to be fixed kind of crazy, honestly. But that seems to be a lot of people's logic. That seems to be kind of the way a lot of people believe it should be. Like, if they can't win a GSL, like, specifically win the GSL, like, all the matches they play before the championship, they don't matter. If they don't actually win the GSL, Protoss is completely underpowered, guys. Yeah, I don't know. It's a weird one to discuss. There's a lot of ifs and buts and ahs. As we get set up here. Just gonna see a VOIDRAY popping out, and that's gonna be our initial setup as well. So just getting that underway. As we got ourselves the queen coming through, and just a few drones coming up, little queens popping out, spores building. Just gonna go +1 air weapons, and it looks like we're gonna keep building VOIDRAYS, which I feel is a little bit disappointing, but alas, such is life. VOIDRAY moving out into the center of the map. The Feelings continuing up. The drones on the way as well. Flare and Roach Roar all continuing into play. And a few extra creep teamers coming up as well. It's going to be seeing our queens moving to the front here. A couple of voids already showing up in the base, already putting a little bit of damage out over on this side, as we do see the queen putting some shots in as well. So dealing some pain as the voids are pushed out along the side at the moment. Really interested that we're going to go Phoenix behind this, apparently. So into Phoenix we go. How interesting. What are we going to do with Phoenix here? And a lot of them at that. Not sure. If there's anything is there something we're in particular trying to catch here, or what exactly is the plan? Full Queen's coming through, just gonna keep pushing those VOIDRAYS back for a moment as well, so just keeping those away for now. We do have our Nidus network already starting up as well, so just bring that Nidus network up, getting that underway. And that's gonna help as well, so just getting that Nidus network into action here. As you do see our Rotron Queens basically looking for the kill. I mean, looking for a kill with a Nidus against Phoenix feels pretty potent. I'm a little bit concerned right now as to what the hell the plan is from NightMare to deal with, well, Queens and a Nidus. There's a big blank spot in the main base of NightMare as well, where that Nidus could come through. But he's actually going to start solo by building out on the base, or on the map. So the safer... That's me. Bless me, apologies. The safer option for the moment, as you're just going to see that Nidus popping, and the units can start to move on forward. So out they pop, and we'll see what the answer becomes. There's a few Lings nibbling at the front. Next Nidus actually just comes in over here as well, so... we're going to try and get that underway. Gonna be seeing this Nidus still active. Now I'm lagging. As Queen's Phoenix helping out. Oh damn, what is this lag today, guys? This is genuinely a little bit horrendous. I was just gonna be seeing Solar try and bust through this third base, but it isn't working. Again, this is seemingly not affecting the players because they just would have paused. I don't know, guys. This is It's kind of funky, huh? He's going to be seeing that Phoenix going back into the base. A couple queens getting picked off. Ravages are going to be picked up a little bit as well. Looking reasonable across the board as we just have. This Ravager going to be taking a few more shots, and Solo just doesn't have enough at all. This Phoenix play is good enough to hold. The Phoenix lifting up the units and all the rest of it. Sorry, got a bit distracted with the lag. But yeah, Solo gets held off. This attack does not work, and NightMare this time around will hold. Yeah, power of the Phoenix, apparently. Able to lift up the queens, take them out of the equation right away. Definitely helping. Definitely going a long way to help out. He's moving back over that right-hand side. Just going to see a couple Stargates still coming through. The Fleet Beacon continues up as well, so all of that continuing in at the moment. That Phoenix will grab a queen, and now other queens taking some damage also. And this is the problem for Solo, is that the follow-up to this is very much so in the hands of the Protoss player. He can continue to put on a lot of pressure, continue to deal a lot of damage, and so far that is definitely the case, and definitely how this is panning out. As the Young Ravager continues back together on the south side. Again, just Stargates, Voids, all of that continuing through at the moment. So you do have the Nidus going to get shot down. The Nidus will fall. Phoenix currently just holding back and just going to be having our extra units continuing up. Carriers continuing to produce as well, for example. So plenty of carriers coming into play alongside the Nidus, which is coming up. And, well, I mean, Solo, what can you do about that? Not really much. He's basically looking for another kill move right here. Let's see if he can get it. And the Phoenix just continuing to pick through Overlords. The Ling Ravager force starting to press on forward. And, I mean, a few corrosive files come down there, and the VOIDRAYS already kind of just dodging out the side. This is very much so looking to be kind of just a done deal. As our Ravagers push on through, and they will at least be able to push the VOIDRAYS up a little bit now. As more Nidus come up, we're going to have more creep spreading forwards. The Queens will get some transfusions. The real question is, can the Ravagers seal this deal? Because they're doing a good job. They're putting themselves in good positions. Can they actually push through and continue? Like, so far it's good, but have we done enough just yet? Well, third base at least will go down. Supplies overall are still very similar. We're continuing to Nidus up and just push forward with Nidus networks. It's kind of weird because the army of NightMare with these carriers should just be a little bit too good. And that should just kind of deal with this, right? I mean, carriers are something I don't think you can really fight through here. There's also +1 air weapons. And yeah, you get rid of the third base, so that was nice, but then you can't really go any further than that, and all the rest of this doesn't really seem to then matter. It seems as though it's just going to be a little bit too much, and that will be pretty much that. As we wrap this game number 4 up, perhaps, possibly, yes, no? It does seem like we're going to be getting to a resolution here very soon, if nothing else. Very interested as to where we go from here then as NightMare. For game number 5, because a couple of the games he's lost has been, you know, Stargate focused. This game went Stargate and did something different, and it worked against the aggression. What do you do about a map number 5? You know, what's your approach there? I believe the final map is going to be Berlingrad? So another of the shorter maps, maybe back to something Twilight focused, maybe actually open glaives this time, for example, could be pretty cool. Could have got the 4 of them, started going up the ramp into the Nat. Yeah, but I mean, then you lose the game anyway because you're not getting rid of the army. He has to get into the base and stop production, otherwise he knows he's going to lose to the carriers. It doesn't matter if the carriers go down to 2 bases because the carriers will still come across the map and kill him. So He's very much so got a forced hand in terms of going up. As we kick off to the top left-hand side, the blue Zerg player from Kaizi Gaming is Solar. And in the bottom right side, our red Protoss from Team NV is going to be NightMare. Friends played Bjorn like 7 times in the last few weeks. Yeah, that's very much so the case of Bjorn was one of the players who would continue to play in tournaments in the build-up to Katowice. Prince as well, so it's been like the same selection of Korean players in all these tournaments lately. So Katowice kind of does that to our community level tournaments. Definitely has a little bit of an impact. You guys think we're going to see Stargate again? I actually really do think we'll see a Twilight. If we see a Stargate, I'm almost confident it's going to be like a single Stargate unit into a Twilight Council, rather than anything else. So that's my prediction for this game number 5 on the Protoss side of things. Obviously what the Zerg does relies heavily on what the Protoss does usually, so not going to make any predictions there. Just moving around, a couple drones pulling out to try and fight it. Having an okay time with that initially. Yeah, doing alright as we just get set up across the board right now. A little Chrono Boost out on the Nexus. And I can't wait to see what will come up next in the next little while. Feelings moving their way around through the top side, and just going to be seeing the drone coming across as well. So a couple of drones, a couple of queens, everything getting going at the moment. As we are going to be seeing our hatchery on the 3rd base, and that Stargate building up from NightMare. So getting that up and running, getting that ready to begin. Do 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 do. First Oracle is going to be coming up, so that's already quite different as well from what we've been seeing before, as I kind of mentioned. That already feels like we're taking something of a step towards making a change here. I'm just going to pop out of that hatchery. The warp gate's still coming through. A couple of queens, drones, ovies, all on the way out on the side of Solar as the Adept does get in there, picks off a Zergling. We will drop down the Nexus on this 3rd base location as well, so just getting that settled down. Also, as the Oracle comes across the map, and queens getting themselves ready also. Just going to see the Oracle turning back around to pick away at that low ground Spore Crawler. So, Spore Crawler going to get picked away at. We'll be going down. It's going to be having the VOIDRAYS on the follow-up, so Oracle Void and now a Twilight Council. So I said a single Stargate unit is going to be the double. That's also a variation you can pull out here. That's fine. And yeah, we'll see the Twilight Council. I'd imagine Glaives. It could be an Archon follow-up. You could go into like an Archon drop as the next step of this. That is something that has potential, so there are some possibilities. Let's see what exactly happens very soon. Just out the front and just getting ourselves again across the board kind of set up at the moment. The extra gates going through. We're actually going to go blink right away. That's what I was really most interested about. What comes out this Stargate, and Blink was not really on my list of expectations. If I'm gonna be completely straight up and honest, I didn't really consider that we could just see Blink from the get-go. That's definitely a bit of a wild way to switch it up, honestly. Kind of surprised that that's gonna be the choice. Okay, well, Blink obviously suggests being very aggressive very quickly, getting across the map, getting up in your opponent's face, and just playing around that idea. So, as you see, a few creep teamers starting to come down. Creep is going to be out on the map. See what happens altogether is we just have ourselves the couple of adepts still shading out down to the bottom. And those few drones continuing in on the side of Solar. And Blink about halfway done from NightMare. Solar actually has a lot of units out down on the south right now, by the way. Lings are running straight through. Trying to see if they can get involved on anything. Answer is no, not really, not just yet. This VOIDRAY will activate, and that hatchery is gonna go down. This will cancel the gain. Depower the Zerg a little bit. 68 drones from Solar, readying up as much army as he can as Blink is about to be finished. He scouts in, there's no forge or anything, right? This is absolutely just committed to this plus this initial Blink upgrade, doing as much as possible, so it seems to be the initial plan as the adepts continue through. 3 drones going down. Now 4. No, this is really nice starting damage because it's also pulling Solar's units back so you can't get a jump on the army as it maybe starts to move onto the map. As we actually just see a Robo-Bay dropping through. I'm surprised we're not seeing more Stalkers almost kind of taken to the stage and trying to see if they can move over. Well, it's definitely a bit of a unexpected way of getting set up as the extra simulators come through. Robo-Bay and the Forge all continuing in as well. Just going to see extra roaches building as you do knock down this set of rocks and just open that part of the map up. The army of NightMare is going to come all the way up to the top side and be moving across the map. Point gonna go pinging on the top side. The Stalkers through the center, trying to go in for a Ravager. Doesn't quite manage it just yet, though. Big push from Solar coming across the map, attempting to distract with the Ling drop in the main base to start us out here. Let's see how this turns out, as we're just going to be seeing the units really starting to press forward in the middle. The Ling's going to go to the natural now, but NightMare is defending that part of this well. Let's see how he can do over this side. A few force fields to start out with. He's got the Prisoner Micro, and I love the Stasis Wards connecting and doing a good job of helping him out as well. Stalkers continue to ping. A few Bane's going to continue through. Good force field right there. That's a really nice force field. Just going to see the rest of these Banes continue to smash on in. Stalkers in a lot of trouble, by the way, as the Lings continue to get a wraparound. Roach Ravager going to try and burst through this bottom side, and Solar looking as though he's having a good time of it. Super Battery doesn't really have anything to heal. A lone Stalker isn't exactly going to be all that game-changing. Just going to be seeing this Roach Ravager army on top of the third. Looks as though it's going to take it down. It looks as though this base is just going to be busted. NightMare just... I mean, honestly, I'm kind of surprised that NightMare just came in and didn't really do anything, you know? Like, he got Blink and he just sat back, he waited, he got, like, 1 Disruptor out. It just felt like... I mean, he switched into triple Stargate, and I feel like this triple Stargate switch is just at a horrible time of the game. Like, you invest into Blink, you get 1 Disruptor, and you're just not doing anything with it, and then you're trying to invest into triple Stargate? I mean, Solar just hits at the perfect time to punish him for that, and I can't help but feel like whatever this attempt of a build is from NightMare is just not really it. I don't like it, if I'm going to be honest. And obviously easy to say that as he continues to die with it, don't get me wrong, but yeah, I really don't feel like that was all too pretty. It's just going to be seeing GG called. Solar is going to take game number 5, and that's going to be that. GG's and well played. Yeah, I mean,